Everybody, happy Monday, the week before Christmas. How exciting. I cannot believe it's here, Kurt.
It's here quick.
It gets here
and then
quick.
It goes.
It comes and goes. For those of you that don't know, I'm Kim Martin, founder of I've Decided, and it's my pleasure to be down at Widecast Studio today doing and being a part of their Christmas open house. That's so exciting. And we're just, stopping in and having some candid conversation around the table today. And I'm excited. My good friend, Kurt, is here with me. Hey, Kurt, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kim, thanks for having me.
You are very welcome. Well, when I was talking to Tim, the founder of Widecast, about this show and kind of the direction that I thought I'd like to have the conversations geared around with my guests that are going to be spending the next half hour with me, I thought, when I think of Christmas, I think of purpose. It really makes me happy to know that Christmas is a great representation that all of us have a purpose. Jesus had a purpose, and we celebrate his birth for Christmas, and he had many purposes and a great purpose, obviously, but he showed us that as humans we were made for a purpose. Yeah. And so I love your story, Kurt, because you really took that leap of faith. Share a little bit about that with everybody listening, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, you're exactly right, especially this time of season, and as the story goes, and with the Christmas story, and God put Jesus on earth, and he was born, but everything that he needed was given to him from day one. And that's part of my message, is no matter what deal or hand we're dealt, I was born with some of my special needs, and they're all physical, so they're easier to see maybe than others, but I believe that we're all born, no matter what, we have some sort of challenge, some sort of disability that we need to learn to overcome. And I truly believe that, starting with Jesus, when he was born, we're given the gifts from day one.
Right.
And my message, and what I hope to motivate people to believe, is that they are able to not only recognize that they have a challenge or a disability, we all have them,
right,
but that they're not afraid or motivated to be able to overcome it.
And to know that they have a purpose, and
exactly.
they have what they're equipped. God equips us.
He gives it to us from the very beginning.
And he did. He showed us that through Jesus. Now, you have a story.
Yeah, as far as my story, the ironic thing for me is, as I mentioned, I was born this way. I've had some obvious challenges, but it's taken me a long time to realize that I'm different. It's taken me a long time to understand what is my purpose. And to be honest, to say that I know exactly what it is, no. I mean, I think that's part of life, but especially here recently, it's become more and more noticeable to me. A few revelations along the way that say, part of my purpose is to meet people like you, to get out to share my stories with others, and hopefully motivate them to be the best that they can be. And personally, what did I do? I chose to resign from a 25-year career in banking.
That's amazing.
There was really no other reason than that through a lot of prayer and support from family, I decided that, when God spoke to me, he's like, you know what? I got more for you.
He created you for a purpose. I got more
for you, exactly.
Yes.
And so meeting you and being able to be a part of this and sharing the Christmas season with others, and hopefully to bring them a little bit closer to finding what their purpose is, and and celebrating the season. That's what it's all about.
Now,
So.
we're not asking you to
Yeah.
leave your
Oh, no, no, no.
25-year career.
Yeah.
We're not asking you to step that far off,
Sure.
unless you're ready to do that, of course. I mean, but obviously you were in that situation where you had been thinking about this for a long time. God had been dealing with your heart for a long time. But what we do want to encourage you this Christmas season, and as we go into the new year, is we want to help you to be a part of your purpose, to help give you the tools and the resources, the motivation and the inspiration, and what you need to, if you need to recognize that you do have a purpose, you have something you were put here to do, and that's generally that burning goal, that dream that you have in your heart.
Yeah,
Did you always kind of have that dream in your heart?
For sure. And then I'm thinking as you're talking, how many people do you talk, especially, I won't reveal how old we are, but, in our...
I'm 29, I don't know what...
Yeah, approaching 30, but you talk to your friends and people, and they're very, raising their families, and they're, from outward appearance are doing great, but you talk or you have private conversations with them, and they're like regretting, man, what if I would have done this, or what, will I ever have time, or I've always wanted, and I just never. Those are the types of thoughts and the things that I'm referring to. And again, doesn't have to be a life-changing, career-ending move, but at least think about some of those things. And
you can earn a living and follow your dream. In fact, one of our power sessions at our kickoff conference on January 19th, Dr. Eileen said he's teaching that power session. And her power session is paying the bills while following your dream, right?
Yes, for sure.
So you don't have to quit your job that's paying the bills to follow your dream, but you can start taking those steps.
And if you truly do believe, which I do, that God gives us all that we need to serve and live out our purpose, you really don't have anything to worry about.
Right.
And ultimately, as you start making these choices, I believe for sure one of the purposes, he wants us to serve something greater than ourselves.
Yes.
And as we start sharing and we start finding our purpose and believing in some of these things that we always wanted to try to do, what you're going to find is, you're going to be more than taken care of. And oh, by the way, you're going to be helping out your neighbor. You're going to be helping out your friend. You're going to be helping out these people that, for whatever reason, have not taken that step.
And encouraging and creating success stories and giving people something to look up to. Like, you did the ultimate, like you said, leaving a 25-year career to follow your inspirational speaking. But I believe that time built you up to this. You got so much from that 25-year career in finances that you actually can apply to where you are today to follow that your ultimate dream.
And we use the word a lot, authentic, and it took a while to become authentic.
Right, your authentic self.
Yeah, for sure.
So, what's the plans for 2019 as we go?
Well, I want to continue to move forward. I do have a presentation that I call Living Life to the Fullest as a Handy-Capable Person.
Right.
Which I'd be more than happy to share with anyone who wants to listen. I'm excited to be invited to, I believe, your...
the first half day in April. You'll be speaking there.
Got it marked on my calendar.
Yes.
And so, again, I'm excited to share that story with the people. And I invite people to find me. I got a YouTube channel.
What is that YouTube channel?
It's if you just search YouTube, Kurt with a K, U-R-T. I use my middle initial P, which you now are getting used to, Kurt P. White. And
I should have said that in the beginning. This is my friend Kurt P. White.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. So Kurt P. White, you can find the YouTube, see some of the things, and obviously your message, I love it, because like you said, all of us have some type of a disability. It can just be our mindset. Your mindset can be your biggest disability, right?
Yes.
So all of us have some type of disability, but what your message is about taking, and like you said, yours are obvious physical physical disability that someone can visually see.
Right.
But a lot of times when it's a mental block or a fear or something.
I use anxiety, depression, those as examples. Yep.
Yeah. So, and that's it. And so that's what our message is today from I've Decided. And this hopefully next half hour, we're going to have some guests kind of following up, guests like you, Kurt. Ingrid Beyhl is going to be our next guest, and we're going to be talking about her. She's following her purpose and plan, and then Stephen, Tony, and just really, I wanted to share these inspiring stories with you guys today, and really just thinking about Christmas. And Christmas really is about purpose, and for that reason, like I said, Jesus was born with his purpose. God gave him all the tools and resources he needed to fulfill that purpose. But it tells us in the word that we have all the spiritual gifts, everything we need to fulfill our purpose too. We just have to have that faith.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. So what is it that you guys want to do? Are you ready to take that leap of faith? We'd love for you to get involved with I've Decided, be a part of our community. You can visit us at ivedecided.org. Hello, I'm Kim Martin, founder of I've Decided. I've Decided is an organization designed to help you achieve your goals and dreams, whatever they are. Our mission is your success. What does success look like today? Well, statistically, only about 9% of the population will ever actually see their dreams, their goals come to full fruition. Why is that? I believe we can change that number. I think success is like a puzzle. It requires many pieces connected together in order to see the full picture. So to be successful, you have to have all the right pieces in one place to keep it simple enough to work. You need motivation and inspiration. You need tools and resources, accountability, support, information, education, and most importantly, you need the right mindset. And we can provide all of that for you under one umbrella through I've Decided. And that's why we've created 4 special shows that will be aired on Peoria TV, which we're super excited about. Those shows will air on Tuesday. On the first Tuesday will be Inspired, and that's geared all around inspiration, motivation, and providing some success stories that will inspire you to take action on your goals and dreams. The second week of the month, we will be hosting Our Community. And that's about support and accountability and sharing information that's happening around our community that will help you be successful in your goals and dreams. The third week of the month is My Success. That's going to be information, education, what you need to learn to be motivated and to have those revelations so that you can continue on your success journey. And on the 4th Tuesday of every month, we will be airing The Source. And that's about tools and resources, everything that we have right here in our community that's going to help you get to where you want to go. So I'm really excited about these shows, and I hope that you will be too. We'd love to have you join our community. You can get more information about that at ivedecided.org. Be sure to tune in. All right. Hey, everybody. We're back. Kim Martin here, founder of I've Decided, just kind of going through over the next half hour talking to some of my friends about Christmas and the season. And for me, when I think about Christmas, I think about purpose. And it really is because I know that Jesus really taught us all about purpose. He really taught us that all of us were born, we were created, we were born, and we have a purpose, and we need to do it. We need to fulfill it. So I was just talking to Kurt, and you know about his story, leaving 25-year career to be an inspirational speaker and following his heart. And we're not you to do that, but we do want you to think about what it is that you want to do. What are those deep burning desires? Right. And so this is my friend Ingrid Beyhl. You wear a couple hats here, and we can talk about a few of those. But I know when I met you, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. It's been a little while. You are my Plexus girl, my go-to Plexus girl. Great products, love my Plexus.
Awesome.
But also though, you've always said Plexus is my platform.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
kind of talk about that a little bit. Like you had this, you just know you got this burning fire that you got something big to do.
Yes, definitely. So, as Kim said, yes, Plexus has always just kind of been a platform and a catalyst to do kind of more. And I didn't even recognize that until I really dove into Plexus and working, the business side of it.
Sure.
And getting out there and actually meeting new people and talking to people and talking through how I can really help people. Something that really was present and what I really started to recognize was just that inner desire to do something a little bit more to encourage and to kind of push people more outside of their comfort zone. I think a lot of us build up those barriers and those walls,
right?
And just realizing, just talking about our health, right? It leads to so many things. We start with the health, but that also guides us and leads us into so many more areas of our life, and it's going to help us in so many more areas. And so as I started talking more and more with people and getting to know them better, you start to understand really maybe what their barriers are, maybe what their fears are, what they might be scared of to push forward with. So that really got me into kind of a mindset place, right? So how do we grow our mindset, and how do we kind of do a mindset shift to where we can start believing in ourselves, and our self-talk becomes more positive versus negative.
Right.
Some of the things we say out loud may not be what we're really telling ourselves on the inside. So
and what you say on the inside matters.
Yes, it
words
does so
matter,
much.
And those are words that are, you're telling yourself. Little side note there. So,
yeah, you bet. So it's all I feel still goes around health, but it's more of like inner health, right? It's our emotions, it's our feelings, it's really being vulnerable and putting ourselves out there so that we can actually get help that we need, and we can talk to those who support us and who are going to lift us up. Rather than kind of knock us back down.
No, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Absolutely.
We want to surround ourselves with people who do believe they have a purpose, people who want to be successful.
You bet.
Not just, you can believe you have a purpose, but then you have to have that burning desire that you're going to complete it.
To move,
that you're going to run the race, that you're going to run the race.
And that's where those fears come in, right?
Yes.
And so those are things that I started recognizing, really focused in on more of a personal growth type situation and that's where you've given me so many opportunities to speak on that as well. It's more about a motivation and be somebody who can inspire other people. And in doing that, you recognize, man, these things are instilled at a very young age.
Right.
As we're really starting to mold who we are and who we grow into be. And where do we go for those things? I know I've gone through the struggles.
Right.
I can list them my whole life,
And they did start way back.
They start way at an early
young.
age, and you believe those things that you're telling yourself. Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe there's body image issues. Maybe there's, self-esteem. It's just a huge thing. So, in thinking about that, I was like, okay, we got to start younger.
I know.
Right?
I'm
We have
so
to start
excited.
younger. And there's just so many things now. It's just a new world. And us as parents have to know how to kind of guide through it and to help our girls as they're growing up, our next generation, really be able to maneuver their way through that.
So you've kind of got this whole new burning purpose.
Yes.
So from one
it's always,
business,
it's ever
evolving, and that's the message that we wanted. Ingrid, you are just so exciting. Yeah. I know you weren't ready to tell a whole lot about it because you're in the beginning phases.
Yes.
But we want you to be on the lookout for a new organization that you're gonna.
That's right.
That you are in the process of starting.
That's right. And that's the thing about purpose. You know it's there. And I think you have to just continue to kind of whittle it down. You're like, okay, but what is it exactly? And to really take that time to connect within yourself and to see, like, this is what it is. This is what I keep coming back to. So you got to move on it.
Yeah, you do.
You do.
And I wish it was just a little bit earlier because I'm like, hurry up because I got my teenage girls. I need to get them there before they get out of the house. So I'm like pushing this because obviously it's going to be geared around young girls, teens, right? Preteens, teens.
Yeah, like 12 to 18.
Okay.
Really those years in a girl's life when they are figuring out who they are, their friends, who's their circle, because we know our circle makes such a huge difference.
Right.
How to connect them to positive things within our community. Our community has so much to offer. And how do we put our next generation into that so they can see the power of growing and strengthening a community as well as giving back, as well as that's going to empower them in the, all while they're doing it in the process.
You're teaching them they have a purpose.
Absolutely.
And you're teaching them that they were perfectly, wonderfully made.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. Just the way they are.
Just the way they are. And that each individual one of us have something exciting to do.
Yeah.
And it's based
Yeah.
on, you got that burning desire.
That's right.
And so we want to encourage you. I'm speaking on our behalf here. Ingrid, I want to encourage you this Christmas season, whether you're watching live today or this pre-recorded show is going to be airing on Christmas Day. All day on Channel 17 on our Peoria Life channel, Peoria TV. And so you might be watching it then. But, today, as you go into the new year, think about your purpose. Think about what Jesus taught us and the birth, what that means. I mean, obviously, the ultimate purpose was to connect us back to our Heavenly Father and really to show us about that relationship. But he had a plan, he had a purpose, and he never steered away from it. And and we're glad he didn't. But the truth is that you have a purpose.
That's right.
And if you steer away from that and you don't fulfill your purpose, there are many people that will be impacted because this is the thing, it's not about us. Your purpose isn't even about you, Ingrid. It's about all those girls that you're going to impact.
That's right.
And if you don't fulfill your purpose,
That's right.
that's not a good thing.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're a part of I've Decided.
yes,
I'm so
me
glad
too.
we met.
Me too.
And it's going to be awesome. And you guys, we want you to join our community too. If you haven't checked us out, would you? I'veDecided.org. We got all kinds of tools and resources to help you get on the right path. And that's what we're here for. Our purpose is to help you achieve your goals and dreams, just so that you can fulfill what you were put here to do.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
thanks for stopping by,
Yeah,
Ingrid.
you
I so
bet.
appreciate it.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
I think Kelly's going to take us to a commercial.
Peoria Life has been very instrumental in our business growth. We've been able to do podcasts and different things that I've actually gotten calls back on, all the way as far as Joliet, Illinois. So we're very happy with what we've done with them, and we really recommend them. It's a little nerve-wracking, but besides that, it's the way of the future. Everybody's doing videos.
It was very smooth, very, very smooth. I come into it a little bit nervous, thinking, man, how's this going to go? Little butterflies in my stomach. But Tim just made it really easy. He coached me right along the way and asked questions, and it was just like a very, very comfortable conversation between two people. Really, is what it was.
Tim is very easy to work with, and he really does make you more comfortable so you can do what you need to do to make your business grow. I don't know. I think it was less than a week. I get a phone call that they saw it online, and they were way up north, and I just couldn't believe how much reach that they had. And then I got another phone call, even a little closer, and they weren't recommended. They were just online looking around, and they found it, and they responded. It works really well. All from watching the video.
All right, everybody. Hey there. Welcome back. And we are just in the studio today doing some table talk. I'm Kim Martin, founder of I've Decided, and just been chatting with some of my good friends. And we're talking about how Christmas really makes us think of purpose. I just love that obviously Jesus had a purpose. We are celebrating the birth of our Savior, and we have a purpose, and I just get all excited. It's coming into the new year. I am with my friend Singleton Tony. Hey, Stephen.
How you doing, Kim?
Thanks for stopping in today.
My pleasure. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Well, when I was thinking about this show, I thought I've had Kurt on, Kurt P. White and his story, and of course Ingrid Beyhl, and she has an amazing story of leading into her purpose, and you do too. And I love that. I love that. And you're young. So for us, sometimes we just keep putting off, and finally we stick the stake in the ground. But the thing I love about you, Stephen, is that early on you said, I got this purpose and this is what I'm going for.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, Kim, it wasn't that way to start out. I graduated from Bradley and I went into finance because I wanted a job at a Fortune 100 company. I wanted to put that on my resume, put it on LinkedIn, and just show off basically. But about a year into it, I realized I wasn't passionate about this. I didn't enjoy being in finance. I didn't enjoy all the paperwork that came with that.
Right.
But I continued to try and make it work because I was afraid of what people would think of me. I wanted people to see me as this successful advisor. I was afraid of what would happen if I cut ties with the company and struck out on my own. And I see a lot of other people doing that. When I was an advisor at this company, I worked with many people in their 20s and 30s, and they were afraid for financial reasons.
Right.
They were afraid
Well,
because
you're getting a paycheck.
Absolutely. Some of them were raising young families and were afraid of having to take care of them, in addition to providing for them and the fear of striking out and doing something new. And the third was just the fear of what are people going to think of me. But the reality is when we try and stay on this track where we're not pursuing our purpose, we're not pursuing what we were made to do, we end up falling apart.
Right.
For me, it got to the point where I was so miserable. I would get about an hour into the workday and I just couldn't focus on the work. And so I was miserable and I wasn't even productive anymore. So when we avoid pursuing our dream, we end up hurting ourselves and hurting those around us, as opposed to when we take that leap of faith and we pursue it, it ends up working out better for us and for the greater community.
And the people that we're supposed to impact, because really our purpose is about others, right?
Absolutely.
Our purpose, think about it. Jesus, Christmas. Jesus, he did not die on that cross for himself, right?
Not.
His purpose really wasn't about him. His purpose was about all of us. And that's us. That's what I mean. Like Jesus showed us the way. It's like our purpose is not really about us.
Right.
It's about others.
Absolutely. And I think that's a good point to bring up because with what I do as a speaker, particularly to high school, junior high, and college students, it's all about them. Where are they at? And honestly, why I chose to do this was I wanted to give the talk to others that I didn't get when I was in high school and I was coming of age and I was wrestling with this or that issue. And I didn't feel like I had any guidance. I didn't feel like I could necessarily trust some of the authority figures in my life. And so I'm giving back to these young adults in the hopes that they can overcome the issues I faced myself better than I did and become the next leaders for the future.
Yeah. So your favorite thing to do is to talk to the younger kids.
Absolutely.
I know. I'm so
Absolutely.
excited. Well, you actually just won our Take the Stage contest. So that was a leap of faith for you to go out on. Just this year. When did you make the commitment that you were going to pursue your career with inspirational, motivational speaking?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I officially launched it in April of 2017.
Okay.
Now, I had been doing talks here and there on the side before then, so it had been something I was familiar with.
Right.
But as far as officially publicizing it, committing to I'm actually going to make something of this and impact others, I officially shared that in April of 2017. Now, because of my previous experience, I probably looked a little more polished than someone who had jumped right in.
Right.
So I've gotten that comment a few times, and I want people to realize that I had been doing it before. I wasn't this good when I first stood up and gave a talk. It was painful for me, and I think painful for my audience as well.
But Stephen, you also recognize that you could get better. You did sign up for Take the Stage and take those lessons and get polished. You've won it. You get to speak at our conference in January, and then you're going to have a special power session designed just for the young students.
Absolutely.
I shouldn't say young students, the juniors and seniors, high school students, teenagers. So the young people is probably what I should say. But I was thinking about you and your purpose. The very first time we met, you came over to our house because you guys were doing Totus to Us, which was a church retreat for children.
Right.
And really, you were speaking then. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about how God put you in those situations even back then, giving
Yeah.
you experience in speaking?
Right. You know, God works in unbelievable ways when we allow Him to do so, for our own good.
Right.
I think when we try and take control and make it work our own way, it doesn't work out as well. Because God has done some amazing things, like us meeting over Totus Tuus.
Yes.
Other things that have occurred in my life as well that have led me to being a speaker. I remember there was a talk I was giving in St. Louis, and unfortunately on my way back I got in a car accident. But in that moment, I was frustrated. I was panicking, right? I don't have a car. How am I going to make the speaking thing work? How am I going to pay for this? But I said a prayer to God, and I just asked Him, Lord, I'm in this mess. Help me get out of it. Well, a few hours later, I'm at the collision center, and there was another family there. They heard about my story. They knew that my family was a few hours away. They offered for me to come over and have dinner with them. So here are these complete strangers in the middle of St. Louis, 3 hours from home, and they opened up their home for me. And then when I got back home, I was still freaking out about the car. But then I hear that a friend from high school just moved to downtown Chicago. She didn't need a car anymore, and she was getting rid of hers. And so it was, I could just see how even though I got myself in a mess or I was making mistakes along the way, God was helping me and providing for me even through some of those darker moments, getting the speaking thing started.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. He, we in the first session, I was talking to Kurt, and he was really talking about how we have everything we need to fulfill what we were put here to do.
Right.
And, we're talking to Kurt, and you're in the same situation. Although you're still working part-time in the finance, you didn't fully leave, right? At least not yet. Last time we talked, you were still doing some part-time work there, right?
Sure.
And then so, you don't have to go all in and fully leave your career. You can maybe do part-time, or you can continue working at your career and just start taking those baby steps towards your dream, right?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of the speakers that I looked up to, they actually encouraged that you find a full-time job and you speak on the side, typically for about 4 to 5 years. I mean, when you look at businesses, that's usually the turning point where if you can make it to 5 years, you're usually going to be on a good route upwards.
I'm so happy to hear that. Did you know we're about to have our 5-year anniversary?
Well, that's exciting.
So that's exciting news. I'm so happy to hear that.
I mean, the statistics are 90% of businesses fail before the 5th year.
Oh boy!
So if you make it,
to 5 years, if you survive, the strong will survive, right?
Right. Yeah. But in all seriousness, we are living in a culture today where it's easier than ever to start your business and start it while you're working full time, while you're raising a family. I mean, just with social media alone.
Sure.
You can log on to Instagram, Facebook at any time of day, post your content on there, and start to grow your business. I mean, there's a lot of artists or musicians who they got started by playing on YouTube, doing tutorials, doing covers of songs, and now they're booking out live concerts because of that.
It's easy to write books. It's so easy online to put your book out there, and CreateSpace.com has made that possible. So you can self-publish. So if writing a book is your dream, and there's so many success coaches and life coaches and people, and we have like Vicky, who's a budget coach, people who can help you achieve those goals, and they've walked the walk.
Right.
So, all right. Well, I think our time is coming to an end here, Stephen. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas.
You as well, Kim.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
We have been talking about how Christmas really does remind us that we have a purpose. Every single person who walks the face of this earth, God created for a purpose. Jesus taught us that. And so I hope you've enjoyed some of the interviews that we brought to you today. I think it's been pretty cool. I've been loving hanging out with you guys. Have a very Merry Christmas, and enjoy your family, and remember the reason for the season, right?
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. Okay.